It's showtime!
Hey, welcome to this episode of Daily Dose of Dan, episode 38. This is going to be a movie review of the new Shazam movie, Fury of the Gods. I believe that's the title. Yep. Rotten Tomatoes giving it, the critics are giving it a 51% rotten, and the audience is giving it a 57% positive. And I'll have to say, my wife and I went and saw it on Sunday, and we were blown away. We weren't really expecting a whole lot. Shazam, the first one, was okay, you know. My wife and I tend to lean DC a little bit versus Marvel. I'm into Green Lantern. She was into Batman before we got together. She still is. So we've always been kind of DC leaning. Not to say we can't appreciate Marvel. But the last couple DC movies have been kind of down. Like the Zack Snyder Justice League was cool. But the second Wonder Woman movie kind of dropped the ball. Flash is not looking too hot. They ended the Snyderverse. So kind of concerned. But Shazam totally brought it. Like, to give you an idea how good it is, I would say my wife and I were talking about it, and I asked her, I was like, well, how would you compare it to Aquaman or Wonder Woman? And the best way we could describe it would be it's equal to those movies, if not maybe one step above it. And that's pretty impressive to come from a weak, usually sequels don't do justice to the original, and in this case it actually surpassed the original, which is cool. It's kind of dark, to be honest with you. There was a couple kill scenes in the movie that were just like, ooh, ouchie. There was a lot of dark stuff in it, and you were just like, wow. Like, when you think Shazam, you were thinking like a lighthearted, like they were trying to be like, well, this is going to be our light comedic, our G-rated Deadpool, is what the way I phrased it when they first brought it out. I was like, oh, look, they're coming out with a G-rated Deadpool, a comical hero that for a younger crowd versus the darker Dark Knight, that type of thing. So it really played well. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. What I am going to say is go out and see it. It is definitely worth the price of admission. You will enjoy it. There's a mid-credit scene and an after-credit scene, so you'll want to stay for those. Take some friends. It's going to be awesome. You'll really enjoy it. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind. Don't get me wrong. I get it. John Wick 2 is out right now, and everybody's like, oh, we should go see John Wick. John Wick ain't going nowhere, folks. It's going to be in the theater for a while because it is making tons of money. I will predict that I think Shazam is going to do better than Flash. I really do. I do know because I looked it up here. Let me pull it up. Shazam! Fury of the Gods hit the theaters with a thud, pulling in only $30.5 million below the $53.5 million for the opening they had projected. And considering that the budget was 110 to 125 million, with a box office, this is saying 73.6 million. That don't bode well. That really says that a lot of people were like, meh, the first one was okay. I don't know how I feel about the second one. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that people underestimated how good of a movie this is. And what was surprising is my wife and I went midday on Sunday, and don't get me wrong, John Wick is out there, Creed is out there, tons of movies out there to watch, right? and this is like the second or third week that Shazam's been out, there was a decent amount of people in the theater. I would say there was probably 20, 30 people in our theater. What that says to me is people have seen it. They've told their friends and family, hey, you should go see this movie. It's really good. And they're coming to the theaters to see it off of recommendations. That's usually what that says, like when a movie's been in the theater for a while and there's a lot more people than normal. Especially against things that are out right now. So, this is a good place to pause and hit like and subscribe. The Daily Dose of Dan positive message, I think, is going to be don't believe too much in the idea of you know what it's going to be like. Sometimes you're pleasantly surprised. And it's nice to be surprised sometimes, especially, some people don't like the surprise and you're like, oh God, you scared me. Or, I wasn't, I like everything planned out. Sometimes it's nice to be pleasantly surprised. So, and that's coming from an uber optimist. I love, I have a very positive outlook on life, and to surprise me with something like this is huge. And I will have to say that the dragon sequences in this movie, which I know I'm not spoiling anything because it was in the trailer. There's more dragon in this than there is in Dungeons and Dragons, sadly. You would think there'd be lots of dragons in Dungeons and Dragons, right? But they poured, and don't get me wrong, there was plenty enough dragon in Dungeons and Dragons. They just added, I think someone ordered Shazam with extra dragon on the side, So if you're into dragons, definitely go see the new Shazam movie before it's gone. Because I'm assuming, because it didn't do well, a lot of theaters were like, well, I'm not going to carry it for another week. So it'll be gone soon. So run out there, see it while it's still there. This has been your Daily Dose of Dan. I'm gonna enjoy the theme music to the trailer for the end.
Let's get down to business.